In this video, we'll build the learner-friendly layer version of our click-to-reveal interaction. This is the way I would build this slide because I think it's best to be as learner-friendly as possible. And if you're starting out with Storyline, you're going to learn that you just need a few layers and triggers to really do a lot for your learner in terms of clarity and guidance. So let me show you what this looks like.
Let's explore why the Opel GT earned the nickname Baby Corvette. Click the red buttons to discover what makes its design so special.
As you can see, the base layer has short narration and a visible seekbar. And learners immediately see how long the intro might go on. And when they click, a layer opens and we have narration and some animated bullets.
The Opel GT featured unusual pop-up headlights. Instead of flipping up, they rotate.
I'm going to mute this, and you see that the seekbar now reflects the layer's audio, and learners can switch buttons freely. You don't hear anything because I've muted it. Compared to the first version, this needs a bit more setup, but it gives us much more flexibility. And when I first started with layers, I didn't realize how powerful they are. And I also didn't understand the seekbar fully. So if you ever wondered why in your project the seekbar only shows the base layer timeline, I will show you how to fix this in this video. The storyline file for this is linked in the description of this video. Right now I will switch to the practice scene, and I'm going to go to the second slide in there, called layer elements. First of all, I'm going to lock the background elements. So they are down here in the timeline, and I can lock them right here just by clicking and holding down my left mouse key. I can also lock more than one at a time. Yeah, we're not going to use markers in this example, we're going to use buttons. They are more flexible and they already come with a few important states by default. So let's click on the Insert tab and then click on Button and then choose the round one. And now we will have to try and drag it so that it's the same width and height. So I'm trying my best to reach 36 or 37. So now I have 36 and 36. This looks good. I'm going to switch to the red that fits my color theme, and I need a round one like so. Now I can look at the states and see that I already have a few of the built-in states in my button. The next thing that I'm going to do is add a white center icon to my button. So let's click in the button tools format tab, click on or expand the button icons and then choose this record symbol, and it's automatically white. And yeah, this gives us a nice button that stands out nicely on the sketch. Next, learners should instantly see which button is active. And we're going to achieve this by adding a selected state. So let's click on Edit States and then add a new state and then choose Selected. This is a built-in state, and I'm going to click on Add. And to make it a bit more visible that the button is selected now, I'm going to change the button border, and I'm going to give it a weight of 2 pixels, and I forgot, I also want to make it black so it stands out a bit more. And then I also want to add a button effect, so I want a little glow, and I'm going to choose the second red one. And I'm also going to do the same for the hover state. So click on hover and then button effects, glow, and then the second option. And yeah, we will just do a little preview of this and then see that when we hover with the mouse, we get this glow effect, and when we click on it, we get a solid black border. Next, I want to help learners see what they've already explored, And yeah, so in the visited state, I'm going to replace the icon with a small check mark. So double click on the visited state, and then yeah, expand the button icons and then choose a check mark. And this is just like a little bookmark for our learners, so they know where they have already been. Okay, and now that I have styled my button, I can duplicate it 3 times. And I'm just going to make sure that it's selected so that the border is solid. And then I'm going to hit Control D on my keyboard 3 times. And I'm just going to look at the timeline and give them, change the names a bit. This is okay. Button 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is just what I always do. So I turn this into button 1, and then the same for button 2, 3, and 4. I will speed this up for you. Okay, and now I just need to place these buttons. So 4 belongs in the rear, 3 goes onto the fender, and 2 goes at the top. And right now, when I preview this, you can see that when I select one of the buttons and then I select another one, both get the dark circle, dark border around it, because now I can select more than one. And I need to change this, and this is pretty easy. I can just select all of my buttons by drawing a rectangle. Now all of my buttons are selected. Now I can do a right click on one of my buttons and then click on button set. And then I will choose button set 1, which is the default button set name for this slide. And yeah, I can just select it. And now when I preview, only one button can be selected. The next thing that we need to do is build the first content layer. In this example, we will use the layer like a glass pane that sits above the main slide, and it just gives us space for extra text and audio, and here we can even highlight details from the sketch underneath. So here in the slide layer panel, we will add a new layer. And I'm just going to double click here and give it a name, layer _01. And yeah, I'm going to copy important layout pieces from the demo scene that I think you can recreate on your own. Go to layer 1 and I'm going to select the rectangle, the heading, and I'm going to select the exit button. And I'm just going to copy these, Control C, and then I'm going to switch back to my practice scene and to the second slide and to my layer 01, and I'm going to paste them right here using Control V. And yeah, I haven't taken the text with me because I have some tweaks that I always like to show you, just so you know, and you also have this in your toolbox. So I'm using Control T. I'm typing in something so that it doesn't disappear. Then I will switch to another application where I have the text for the bullets. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it in here. I will just check the size of the heading at 16. I'm going to set this to 14. I just think there needs to be some spacing, so I will click on this little arrow down up here in the paragraph group, and then spacing for after I will choose 6 pt. So now we have a bit more space between them. I will add the bullets, and I will also click on the little triangle and then click on bullets and numbering, and I will change the color so that it also fits our red color theme. And I'm going to click OK. And yeah, I'm just going to format the text box so that it fits, and then maybe move it a bit upwards. And yeah, I think that this looks quite good. And yeah, of course, I could have just copied them, but I just wanted to show you the tricks. Okay, so one more thing that I would like to add to this layer that explains the pop-up headlights is narration. I'm going to click on insert and I'm going to click on audio and then I'm going to click on text to speech. And because all of the transcript is in the notes panel, I can just click on copy from slide notes. I can get rid of everything that is not the text for this layer. So this is the narration for the other 3 layers. I can just delete it. And now I'm left with the spoken text for this layer. I can just click on insert. Now, before I preview this down here, I will just tell you up front that now I will add 2 cue points, and these will help me line up the animation for the bullet points that we're going to add. So I'm going to listen to this, and when I hear that we are talking about one of the bullets, I will hit C on my keyboard, and then a little cue point will appear up here. So let's go.
The Opel GT featured unusual pop-up headlights. Instead of flipping up, they rotated sideways, yet the look strongly reminded people of the Corvette's signature hidden headlights.
Okay, so yeah, this is roughly okay. I can still move around the cue points if I want to, but yeah, for now I will just keep this. And now we need to work with the text box that we have added. I have selected it now, and then I will go to the animations tab, and then I will add a wipe animation as entrance animation, and I will make sure that we are wiping from the left, and I will also make sure that the sequence is not as one object but by paragraph. And by choosing this, we get this little triangle, and now we can expand the text box and we can just drag these bullets, and they also snap to the cue points. Before I knew about this, I would just replay over and over again and move text boxes individually. Yeah, this has probably saved me hours. These cue points just make this process so much easier. Okay, so yeah, let's do a preview.
Click the red buttons to discover what makes its design so special.
And as you can see, the typical error that still happens to me all the time has taken place. Yeah, I will need to close the preview and make sure that the base layer and this button, that they are linked to layer 1. So we need to tell Storyline that when we click on this button here, we want to see the layer. I'm going to click on this button, and I'm going to click on create a new trigger, and it's going to pre-populate when the user clicks button 1 for us right here. This is a good thing. This is exactly what we want. And then we need to change the action. We don't want to jump to the next slide. We want to show a layer, and it will be layer 01. As you can see, this still happens to me, and if this happens to you and you're just clicking around on your preview and nothing happens, just know you're not alone with this. Okay, so let's do the preview.
Let's explore why the Opel GT.
So as I preview this now, you will see that when I click on the button, we will get the layer and we will get the animation for the text boxes, but please also pay attention to the seekbar. Yeah, I've muted this, sorry.
They rotated sideways, yet the look strongly reminded people of the Corvette's signature hidden headlights.
Okay, so this is working, but the seekbar didn't do anything because it still shows the timeline of the base layer. To tie the seekbar to the layer in Storyline, we will do the following. So first we will make sure that we have our layer selected, and then we're going to click on this gear icon down here. This will open the slide layer properties, and for allow seeking we will say yes, and we will also enable pause timeline of base layer. And if we do a preview now,
Let's explore why the Opel GT earned the Opel GT featured unusual pop-up headlights. Instead of flipping,
you can see that the seekbar now reflects the layer. Okay, and now that we have our first layer set up, we will just duplicate this layer 3 times. So I will just make sure that it's selected, and then I will hit Ctrl D on my keyboard 3 times. And then, of course, I will change the names to layer 2, 3, and 4. I will just do this right now and speed this up for you. Okay, and yeah, you will need to do some changes to all of these layers, of course, but I won't bore you with this right now. I will just switch to the demo scene and tell you that, of course, you will need to change the heading, change the text, and you will also need to regenerate the text-to-speech and adjust your cue points. And in some cases, you will probably also have to move around the text box and all the elements so that you can see what is talked about on the sketch. And yeah, just one more thing that I want to show you is that here on layer 4, I have also highlighted, because we are talking about the rear design and the twin circular lights, I have highlighted these with some ovals, and these ovals have some transparency, and they will just help us or help the learner understand better what we are talking about. Yeah, when I first learned Storyline, I thought layers are just simple text and audio containers. But once you add highlights like these and narration and animation and timing, they can become small and meaningful mini scenes that are on top of your base layer. Okay, and the last thing that we will need to do is add triggers to button 2, 3, and 4 so that each button is linked to the correct layer. And in our practice scene, you would just go ahead on the base layer and copy the first trigger that we have created, and then just pick another button and then paste it. And then you just need to pick the correct target and then do this 2 more times, and then you will be done with your interaction. And in the next version, I will show you a restricted corporate version of this, where learners can't skip ahead and must finish all the layers before continuing. This isn't what I like to build, but it is often requested. So I'm going to show you how you can build it. And yeah, if you're building compliance training, this video will really be for you. And I hope to see you in that video. Thanks so much for watching, and bye for now.